and you learn on the job. You learn on the way through. You learn on how to deal with people. I'll never forget the very first wedding I photographed. There was a major Barney during the family groups, and the bride and the bride's sister-in-law had a full-on fight. And it was like, do I really want to be here? Is this really what I want to be doing? But you get to the right client base. You know what it's like. You pitch yourself price-wise to the sort of people you want to work with.
You started as a photographer immediately sort of after leaving school, but you must have had an interest before then, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, my whole intro to photography is because of my old man. So my dad was a photographer from back in the 80s. My first job was carrying his box. It was as a wedding photographer, and then we worked together. He gave me a roll of film and a camera one day, and the bride bought a couple of the photos. So from then on, I was a professional photographer, and it sort of went from there, really. I never studied photography because I was photographing, or part of photographing, 80 weddings a year. So it was insane. I was always surrounded by it, and then we did a lot of corporate work together as well. So I learned from one of the best photographers in the industry of his time, and then just went from there, really. It was sort of an inevitable thing. I'd got wedding bookings in the diary before I'd even left school. So I was very lucky. I was able to accelerate my business a lot quicker than a lot of people would be able to, because I'd been there, seen it and done it while I was still a student, essentially. And yeah, I just never looked back, mate. I love the job. The industry's changed a hell of a lot over that nearly 20-year cycle, but it's still people. And ever since we moved everything more into the documentary side of things, which is my style of the wedding photography, and indeed, I guess to a degree, the personal branding side of things, it's trying to be really authentic and just real with everything and just having a bit of fun. I want to have fun with everything I do, but literally started my business at the age of 18, went out and bought an $8,000 camera, which I dropped the year after. That hurt. Yeah, exactly. But you just get through it, and you learn on the job. You learn on the way through. You learn on how to deal with people. I'll never forget the very first wedding I photographed. There was a major Barney during the family groups, and the bride and the bride's sister-in-law had a full-on fight. And it was like, do I really want to be here? Is this really what I want to be doing? But you get to the right client base. You know what it's like. You pitch yourself price-wise to the sort of people you want to work with. And I followed that same philosophy all the way through. And it's not a case of, for me anyway, not a case of going for the most expensive client. It's finding where that comfort point is. And I've definitely got there, and I love it. It's I love working with people and giving them something that's really special to remember their day by.
Was there ever a point when you were kind of starting out on your own, so to speak, so without your dad's help necessarily, when you're on your first photo shoot, where you kind of felt a bit of imposter syndrome and a bit of fear kind of kicked in of like, oh, am I really doing this?
There's still fear on every shoot, mate. Literally it's not a lie, especially when it comes to weddings. You got one chance on a wedding. You've got to get it right. And I still have butterflies now. And I always say that the day I go out to a shoot and I'm not nervous, it's time to pack it in and do something else, because it means I don't care anymore. But yeah, I never really had imposter syndrome. I guess maybe I just felt like I should be there because it's what I'd always done, and I knew I was good at it. I mean, I photographed my first wedding when I was 14, so it sort of went from there, really. It's what I've always done, and I guess that's why. I sometimes feel it even now, when you're on some corporate jobs and you're the small fry in the size of the production. But you got to remember you're there for a purpose, and I'm just quite pig-headed, and I'll just carry on and bring my confidence to every situation, really, mate.
Yeah, I think that's super important, actually, what you just said there. I can't paraphrase it, but you're there for a purpose, I think, is what you said. You have to remember, like, that client's booked you to do a specific job, and they've probably booked you off the basis of referrals, reviews, testimonials, case studies. They know what they're buying. I did a talk recently for a big sort of international pharmaceutical company, and that was quite a challenge, actually. I found it because I hadn't done anything of that scale before, but then I realized, they were the ones who picked me. I didn't go out there scouting for that business, and I wasn't the one who was kind of putting myself under pressure. I was putting myself under pressure. It wasn't them putting the pressure on me, I should say. And so when you kind of are allowed to decompress and actually look at the job which you're doing, and then realize, afterwards, when the clients bought the photographs and the albums and they're using them on their social media and various things like that, you can sit back and go, yeah, do you know what? I did a good job there. I'm proud of that. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, it is feeling that pride afterwards. And I think the nerves and the anticipation and the pressure you put yourself under it's all part of it. As I said, if you don't feel that obligation to overperform and over deliver, then there's something wrong with you. I always want to push. I always want to get more out of every situation and bring out the best in me and whatever was going on around me. Just sort of how my mind works.